The story begins with a 19-year-old girl named Yun. She lives a happy life with her mother, who cannot hear or speak. Yun tries hard to teach her mother to talk, so that if she ever goes out alone, she can communicate with others. Yun's father passed away many years ago. Now, the family is made up of only the mother and daughter, who rely on each other. Despite their poor financial condition, they live happily. Yun's mother loves rice cakes, so every day when she returns from school, Yun makes sure to bring some for her. On the other hand, Yun loves cosmos flowers very much. Her mother always plucks cosmos flowers and gives them to her. Both of them find happiness in these small things. However, Yun stops her mother from plucking flowers because she believes that flowers also feel pain. Both of them work to manage the household expenses. Yun's mother works in a garment factory, and Yun has a part-time job at a cafe. Her mother feels sad seeing her work at such a young age. She always advises her daughter to stop working, reminding her that they've already paid off the debt taken during her father's illness. But Yun doesn't want to trouble her mother, so she just laughs it off. Yun's mother has asthma, so she orders various herbal teas online to help her feel better. One day, Yun's school friends visit her workplace. It is then revealed that Yun has stopped going to school. However, to avoid raising any suspicion from her mother, she leaves the house in her school uniform. Apart from this, it is also revealed that Yun is preparing for the government job exam. Although she couldn't pass this year, she plans to attempt the exam again next year with full preparation. On the other hand, Yun's friends are very supportive. They encourage her and even buy her the necessary books. One day, upon hearing that her mother had injured her finger at work, Yun runs to her in tears. One of her mother's colleagues had taken her to the hospital and looked after her, for which Yun gratefully thanks him. The next day, Yun's mother is seen smiling while looking at her daughter's photo. The same colleague comes by and says that her daughter is very beautiful. Yun's mother reads his lips, laughs, and replies in sign language that she looks just like her father. But the man couldn't understand anything she said. He assumed she might not be able to hear or comprehend what he was saying. Thinking this, he boldly says that Yun has grown up now and recommends marrying her to him. He adds that no one else can make her as happy as he can. Saying this, he starts laughing. But Yun's mother understood everything, and in anger, she slapped the man hard. His intentions were truly mean and disgusting. He had been eyeing Yun with bad intentions ever since he first saw her. Later that day, the man went to Yun's workplace and stared at her feet with a filthy gaze. Even after returning home, he couldn't get Yun out of his mind, especially since he was drunk. On the other hand, Yun was running late from work that day. The streets were empty, and taking advantage of the situation, the man began following her. After a while, Yun sensed that someone was behind her. Nervous, she quickened her pace. The man chased after her and eventually grabbed her from behind. He dragged her into a secluded corner of a field and assaulted her, driven by his twisted desires. But the man was so vile that even after committing such a horrific act, he looked Yun straight in the eyes and threatened her, saying that if she told anyone, he would do the same to her mother. Meanwhile, Yun's mother grew anxious as her daughter hadn't returned home late into the night. Worried, she went out to search for her. When the man spotted Yun's mother alone in a deserted area, twisted and sinful thoughts once again crept into his mind. He got up and started walking toward Yun's mother. Yun, already enduring unbearable pain and horror, saw the same vile intentions in his eyes, this time for her mother. Summoning her last bit of strength, she rose, grabbed a nearby stone, and struck the man hard on the head. The blow proved fatal, and the wicked man died on the spot from the injury. In the next scene, Yun finds herself under arrest for murder. The police discover no clear evidence that she acted in self-defense. Even if the police believe her statement, the law requires proof. As a result, the case is no longer considered self-defense, but is now classified as murder. To save Yun, her lawyer suggested that she go out in public, join a women's organization, and fight for her rights. But Yun disagreed. She didn't want anyone to know anything about her. She didn't want to be looked at with sympathy, as if she were a helpless, poor woman. Ever since her birth, people had looked at her that way, and she couldn't bear it anymore. She explained the same thing to her mother. With no other options left, both mother and daughter cried helplessly. A few days later, the day of the hearing arrives. Due to a lack of evidence, the court sentences Yoon to 5 years in prison for the crime of murder. Upon hearing the verdict, Yoon's mother begs with folded hands, then hugs her daughter and cries so much that everyone present becomes teary-eyed. Later, in prison, Yoon was taken to her room, where 5 other women were already living, all serving their sentences. As soon as Yoon entered, one of the girls began beating her badly just because Yoon's body had slightly touched her while entering the room. Seeing Yoon getting beaten up, the other inmates stepped in and stopped the girl. That whole night, Yoon cried a lot, thinking about her mother. This is the first time she has ever been away from her. The next morning, all the inmates ate together. They weren't as bad as Yoon had thought. Each of them had their own story. But one of them stood out. She was wearing different clothes, a pink uniform unlike the others. When Yoon asked her, she replied that she is the best prisoner in the entire prison. Among them, there is also a senior inmate named Sununj, whom everyone calls Big Sister. Noticing that Yoon isn't eating, Sununj gently explains that in time, she will get used to living there. She tells Yoon that if she doesn't eat, she won't have the strength to work. The inmates also tell her that they get paid for the work they do inside the prison. When Yoon found out that the highest paying job in prison was in repair work, she decided to take it. Although the job was very difficult, she still chose to do it. After some time, all the prisoners left for their assigned work. There, a woman kept staring at Yoon as she was young and beautiful. While taking attendance, the prison officer, noticing that Yoon was new, told her that her prisoner number was 2037. That's when we understand the title of the movie.
After work, Yoon asked when she'd get paid. The officer snapped, yelling, "You were just a prisoner. You get nothing." Yoon was shocked and hurt. That night, while everyone else was sleeping, Yoon sat alone, quietly crying. Sununj came over and shared her story. She said she once had a son who died in a car accident caused by a drunk driver. In her grief and rage, she burned the man's entire family alive. Now, she was awaiting her death sentence. She told Yoon, "You need to talk about what's in your heart. If you keep it all inside, it will destroy you." Yoon listened carefully. Later that night, she wrote a letter to her mother. In it, Yoon said she was doing okay and asked her not to worry. From that day on, Yoon slowly began adjusting to life in prison. She learned how to do her work and started opening up to the other women in her cell. A few days later, Yoon's mother came to visit. She brought her daughter's favorite food, but the guard said outside food wasn't allowed. Still, seeing each other after so long made them emotional. When Yoon saw her mother mouth her name, without even speaking, they both burst into tears. A once joyful home had been torn apart by one man's evil actions. The next morning, Yoon suddenly felt very sick. After seeing the doctor, she received shocking news. She was pregnant. The trauma she had tried to leave behind had returned in the most painful way. The child she was carrying belonged to the man who had destroyed her life. Confused and overwhelmed, Yoon ran to the prison gate, crying for her mother, screaming to be let out. The guards stopped her and locked her in a dark room. Soon, her cellmates found out about the pregnancy. They were all deeply worried. Yoon was too young to be a mother, and the situation was heartbreaking. The next day, Sununj, the older inmate, gently held Yoon's head in her lap and told her to stay strong. She reminded Yoon that life doesn't stop, no matter how hard it gets. One day, the same girl who had beaten Yoon on her first day attacked her again. She shouted at Yoon for keeping the rapist's child, but another inmate stepped in and stopped her. It turned out that the angry girl had gone through something similar. Her rage came from pain. Yoon stopped meeting her mother, afraid of how she would react to the news. But her mother came every day, waiting and hoping, never understanding why her daughter wouldn't see her. One day, a woman tried to lure Yoon into the bathroom to hurt her. But Jae stepped in just in time. She pulled the woman's hair and threatened her, saying, "Even if I kill one more time, they'll still hang me, so don't touch her." From that day on, no one dared to go near Yoon. As time passed, Yoon became more depressed. One day, she tried to hurt herself using a broken piece of glass. The same angry girl saw her and stopped her, yelling, "I told you not to keep the baby, but don't throw your life away like this." The inmates comforted Yoon and encouraged her to speak out. They suggested going to the media or seeking legal help, but Yoon refused. She didn't want the world to pity her or know her pain. She said she'd rather spend 5 years in prison than live with that kind of shame. Instead, the inmates helped her send a request for a retrial. Because of the pregnancy, Yoon was given lighter duties like sorting medicine. Though she didn't meet her mother, she sent her letters often saying she was okay. Her mother cried every time she read one. One day, Yoon felt terrible stomach pain. The doctor told her she was already 6 months pregnant. The baby was small but healthy. Hearing the baby's heartbeat made Yoon cry, because deep down, she had been secretly taking medicine to end the pregnancy. Back in the cell, Yoon told her roommates everything. From that moment on, they began caring for her like family. They made sure she didn't have to lift a finger. Then came the day of the retrial. The judge gave Yoon a chance to speak. With tears in her eyes, she admitted to killing the man, but explained why. She said, "Whether anyone believes me or not, I know what he did to me. I will serve whatever punishment I deserve. But please, someone take care of my mother." The courtroom was silent. Then the judge gave his decision. Yoon's sentence would be reduced from 5 years to just 1. Everyone smiled. It was a quiet moment of victory. As the months passed, Yoon's belly grew. Her roommates treated her with tenderness. One day, she said she missed cosmos flowers, her favorite, the ones her mother used to give her. That night, while she was asleep, the others secretly drew pictures of cosmos flowers all over the bathroom. When Yoon saw them the next morning, she was overwhelmed. She cried with joy. Later, the inmates began making clothes and socks for the baby using scraps of their own clothes. They even picked a name, Boney, meaning protector of the weak. Even the angry girl who once hated Yoon made a toy for the baby from materials she found at work. The kindness in everyone's hearts began to bloom again. For the first time in a long while, there was real warmth in the room. Then one day, while everyone else was at work, Yoon went into labor. She placed letters she had written for each of her friends into their drawers, then collapsed on the floor. When the others returned, they found her unconscious. Panic spread. The guards rushed Yoon to the hospital. The baby was saved, but Yoon wasn't waking up. Back at the prison, the others read Yoon's letters. She had written them in case she didn't survive. She thanked each of them for showing her love and giving her hope. Yoon's mother was told her daughter was in the hospital. She rushed there and found Yoon unconscious. She hugged her tightly and cried like never before. The final scene shows a beautiful field of cosmos flowers. A little girl is running, laughing with joy. It's Yoon's daughter, now adopted by a kind family. Then we see Yoon's mother at home, ironing clothes. Beside her lies a certificate. Yoon has been called for a government job interview. Suddenly, someone calls out, "Mom!" She turns around and smiles. The movie ends without telling us whether it was really Yoon or just a memory her mother holds onto. But in that final smile, there is hope. Thank you for staying with Yoon's journey, a story of pain, strength, and quiet resilience. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, even in the darkest moments, there is always a chance to bloom again. Stay kind, stay strong. Until next time.